I'm sort of frozen, and I'm live from New York and many other places. This is Hangout Conversations, I'm starting late, but it's 8 o'clock almost in California. So I usually start 8 o'clock in New York, and I said, why not start almost 8 o'clock in California? So that's what I'm doing, almost 11 o'clock in New York. Sorry about all you New Yorkers and East Coast people that wanted to go to sleep, but who cares? You're up. This is Hangout Conversations. It's a weird show. It's going to be a surprise show. It's not one of my normal shows. And why, you ask? Because what have I been doing the last 2 months? I've been working on New York City H.I.R.L 2, which is coming up a week from, I guess, today. Yeah, there's an hour left and 2 hours left in 11 o'clock. I can't do math right now. All right, so last week's episode with, who was on that? Oh, my God, I can't remember. Ashlyn Athens, I think. Oh, my God, that's how terrible it was. I can't remember who was on last week. Sorry about that, Ashlyn. Had a great show with him. He's a scribbler. That's up. Plus, Taman show is up. I just did me, Jane Ellen, and Amy Gabriel, and Nick Beanham, who is not wearing a shirt, but you couldn't see that, don't worry. I just did a show with them literally before this show. That's probably why I didn't do my show. And here we are. So, New York City H.I.R.L 2, we're gonna have a H.I.R.L show. We're gonna have people that were at the last H.I.R.L, and some of them are coming to the next one. And I'm excited about it. What is a H.I.R.L? It's a hangout in real life. It's something that we did in February, and it's been happening all over the world. It's happened in South by Southwest, Texas, California, Vegas, Florida. You can't see my hands. I'm hitting my hands. What's wrong with you, camera? Europe. They had a H.I.R.L in Italy, and they just had the Edinburgh, Scotland H.I.R.L. I can't even talk either. And that was Dolly Young. That was exciting, and some great pictures. And I got to hang out with Lotus Carroll and Vivian Goutois and Alan Shapiro, a bunch of great people, Deshawn C. and Frank Storm and Paula L. and Kathleen Kent. And I'm using their last initials because I don't want to say their last names wrong. And I got to yesterday. That was a lot of fun at the High Line. We walked the High Line, which is a park in New York, which I hope to take some hurlers to, which is really beautiful. A lot of great shots. But without further ado, I see we have 3 million viewers. I'm off by 1 million. Let me introduce my guests. I have lots of guests that are dying to get in here. They're sweating, literally, like me. They're schwitzing. Let's get them on here. Let's start ladies first. Here we go. Bronwyn McGuckin is here on Hangout Conversations. Welcome, Bronwyn. You have to unmute yourself. I know.
It's not. Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, Verizon. How are you?
Okay. Apparently my microphone doesn't work anymore.
Okay. Thank you for being part of the show. You were at H.I.R.L number 1, and you'll be at H.I.R.L number 2 in New York.
That's right. H.I.R.L number 1 changed my life. And
H.I.R.L number 2 will change it again.
It better.
It better. That's a promise. Lisabeth Klein is here. Lisabeth, you are at H.I.R.L number 1, and you will be at H.I.R.L number 2. Welcome to Hangout Conversations. You're looking good. Got the hair.
I got the hair down? Yeah, I took it out.
Nice. Just
but
for
I
my
get to see
show.
you, Matt, so that's very exciting.
That is very exciting. It's very exciting. I get to see you, and I get to see Bronwyn.
We live so close, and we never get together.
Well, then we should change that. I didn't know you wanted to get together. We can get together more. I can make that happen.
We're not that far.
We can get together multiple times and do multiple things together, and Bronwyn can be there. And then we have Rayan is here. Rayan was at the first H.I.R.L, but sadly will not make the second H.I.R.L. But he probably, if I ever get to San Francisco and get a job out there, I'll do San Francisco H.I.R.L, and he could be at that. So, hey, Rayan, how are you? Welcome.
I'm good. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I see you have a chart. Are you at work? I see a chart up in the background.
No, I'm not at work. I'm at an old office.
Okay. Cool. And I hear some dogs. Is that Lisabeth?
Nope.
No.
We have guinea pigs.
Bronwyn?
Shut up, man!
Alright, I guess we know whose dog it is. So there's no, I'm not doing a format. We're just going to have a conversation. People want to watch. We lost 1 million out of 3 million viewers. The other 2 million people watching will stay. So what are memories that you guys had from New York City H.I.R.L 2 that you remember fresh in your mind, and whether it was an event or meeting people or on air or sleeping or drinking or cooing or Google New York or what? Anyone can talk. It's free reign.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. I loved meeting everybody. I thought it was really fascinating to be able to actually get together with everybody just in real life as opposed to having to do this virtual thing. And, you know, I also loved our little passport books. I thought those were fun.
The Plus Ports by Brian.
The Plus Ports.
Yeah.
The Plus Ports were great. I still have my little Plus Port.
The Plus Ports were great. We love it. The only problem is we needed Sharpies
Yeah,
and I don't
we
think
need
we'd have.
better
Yeah, I don't think we'd have plus points this time, but we will make something that'll be memories. And we'll have a good time. And this time, what about this time? You're looking forward to see everyone again?
I am. And also meeting new people, because there'll be people at this one that didn't make it to the last one, so that'll be, that'll be fun. And the concert Friday night is just going to be awesome. I can't wait.
It's gonna kick ass. It's gonna be very cool, and is actually getting Rayan here was a big deal, getting him to play. So I'm looking forward to that. Rayan and Sickle, who is having some dinner right now. Otherwise, he'd be singing somewhere in America. That's all I got. And Rayan, Rayan got to sleep above me, but there was a bunk bed, not like right on me. Wasn't that close. And we had some good times. He had his glasses on. I had Rayan do some. In fact, I had Rayan watch the HQ at times. Like, it was a little crazy. M&Ms were flying. People were having relations. Stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I felt like I got the watchtower in the room, looking around and just monitoring what's happening.
It was kind of crazy. And then Bronwyn was there too. Bronwyn got to be part of the Super Bowl party, Super H.I.R.L, which was kind of like
Perl.
the Giants got to win that. That was fun.
Yeah, that was an interesting night. We rocked Times Square, didn't we?
Yeah, that was really cool that after the Giants won that we went out, everyone was screaming, they were kicking doors open, they were like, Giants! And Times Square had the big Giants symbol and everything. Speaking of that, I saw, not that this had anything to do with New York, but our basketball team won by, I watched it, over 80 points against poor Nigeria. It was, anyway, that was sad. Yeah. But that's okay. And Carmelo Anthony, New York Knicker, scored the most points ever for an American Olympian today. Basketball, that was kind of cool. And Bronwyn's drinking a soda, so.
I am drinking a soda, yes.
Is that a New York bought soda? Did you buy that in New York?
I did buy it in New York. You know what's really awesome is that I live fairly close to where it was bottled in can.
That is interesting.
They do that in New York. It's in Queens.
Cool.
Yep. Soda comes from Queens.
So yeah, so what is your? Let's talk a little about the H.I.R.L phenomenon in general. Just how between hangouts and hurling. Lisabeth, are you a big hangouter or not really? Because I haven't hung out with you a lot.
No, we haven't done it a lot, partially just due to my schedule. When everybody else that's available that I want to talk to, I'm usually tied up doing something, either legal briefs or kid stuff or something. So I don't usually get the opportunity when everybody else is around.
That's what we like to hear, that you're tied up. That makes everything.
Yeah, thanks.
50 Shades of Lisabeth Klein. Cool.
You're not supposed to talk about that. You promised.
I didn't sign anything.
Lied.
Oh, don't call me a liar on my own show. I didn't know. I'm an old man. I don't know. I'm not in my 20s anymore.
Yeah, none of us are.
What? I still look like I am.
I still look like I am.
Right? Right. It's weird. Is it weird that you see people, when I'm in my 20s, I always, well, at any age, I would try to kind of guess how old people were in my head. Like, are they older? Are they younger? You never really can guess. Like, no,
you can't usually tell.
Yeah, you can tell. They're usually now, I think someone looks like they're in their 20s, and I think they must be in their 30s. So that's usually.
Oh, so you're adding up.
Yeah. Well, because usually usually I say, oh, you look like you're 20. I'll say, you look like you're 26, but I know you're really like 36.
When I do the math in my head, it doesn't seem to add up.
Yeah, now you're married and have a kid. You could have done that at 20, but you.
I don't know why my headphones aren't working.
Princess Leia over there with headphones. Quick.
I know.
Luke.
No, I thought you were younger than me.
I know, but that's the other thing too. People like to make me younger than them because it gives them this superiority kind of complex over me. They're like, yes, I am older. I have that over here. And then when they find out, they're like, no, I do not have that. But he is still okay. I don't know. I'm making that up, by the way. That was totally just me being funny. Don't.
Got me, huh?
No, actually, there was a time when.
Uh-oh.
What? There was a time when. What? There was a time when somebody would not. Someone was like 20 and I was 22. And then they asked me, and they wouldn't believe me. Like, even after I showed them my ID, they would not believe me. So, I don't know.
It's okay, Matt. I think I'm older than everybody here, so
That's
it's really
fine.
okay.
You still look young. Oh, I'm not upset about it. I just think it's funny. You know, the idea of who wants to be older, who wants to be younger, that phenomenon. You know, when you're younger, you want to be older. When you're older, you want to be younger. You know.
And then you hit a certain age where you just don't want anybody to know.
Yeah. What age is that?
I'm not sure yet. When I hit it, I will let you know.
Okay. Or not, or you won't let me know, and then we'll never know. Benny Young, was it Benny Hill that was 39 his whole life, or Benny Goodman?
Something like that. I decided, yes,
guys.
it was the whole, I decided instead of becoming 40, I'll always be 39 or 29 or something like that.
39, yeah. Is 40 scary?
I don't know. I haven't hit it yet.
Okay, good. That's the right answer. Rayan, what's going on? Rayan's all the way. We're all three of us on the East Coast. You're all the way out there on the West Coast. What's going on on the West Coast?
A lot is going on in the West Coast. Just a lot of great weather. Just
what are you doing? What are you? How's your summer? What are some of the cool things you've done? Anything? Meetups?
Really, I've actually been applying to several jobs here and there, but nothing really spectacular. No big summer hurls. I'm hearing about quite a bit of them. Of course, New York is the mother of all hurls, especially in the last several weeks. But no, you know what? No, surprisingly, not as much hurls in California that at least that I know about. But that's partially my fault since I haven't been on Hangouts in quite a bit of time.
You have to change that.
I do have to change that.
It is, you know, but you're right. There is an interesting thing where I think that people have been hanging out since the beginning, and they were doing it for a lot, and then it's great. But I think after a long time, you want to do stuff, and then life gets in the way. And I mean, I think less people that used to hang out all the time, things have come up, and they just haven't been able to.
I think not only that, you know, when Google Plus first started, you know, we were a lot more of a smaller base of users. But now I suppose that because we're discovering so many other users that, you know, we might even just be branching off and we just don't know it.
Yeah. Is that sad, or is that exciting, or is it both? I don't.
I mean, it's sad. It's exciting because you're always meeting new people and it's great. But at the same time, you know, what can you do? It's
life.
It's, you know, you're on a platform where you discover people, so you want to be able to discover and meet all these cool new people. And I bet you, especially, I don't know what the turnaround or what the records are showing for the New York H.I.R.L, but I'd be surprised if there were a lot less people going this year than there were last year.
You'd be surprised if there was less?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, we might know a lot less people, but
there are a few people coming that had signed up that I didn't know, so that was new, and I got to meet some of them, and some of them I'll meet at the H.I.R.L. So there is that. And last time there were a few people, Lisabeth, you were a handful of people that I really didn't know until closer to the H.I.R.L.
Right, yeah, we didn't really get a chance.
So how did you find out, like, was your Google Plus involvement, were you searching? How did you find it? Like, what?
Well, see, it's interesting because, you know, when everybody started using Google Plus as opposed to, you know, migrating away from Facebook. I know I said the F word, I'm sorry. But forgive me. You know, I started using Google Plus, but I wasn't really getting that involved. I was kind of more watching and seeing kind of how it was developing. And I started speaking to, you know, kind of a core group of people that ended up not being hurlers. They ended up doing other things. So I kind of just fell into it. I happened to come across a post. Actually, I think it was one of yours that just kind of was like, "Oh wow, you know, what is this?" And I will fully admit, despite the fact that, you know, I can chat with basically anybody, I was extremely intimidated going into the city, even though I go in constantly, in having to get together with everybody.
Wow.
You know, I was really worried about it. I thought it was great. I had a wonderful time. Texting you in the middle of the subway station trying to figure out where you were was amusing in and of itself.
You were not alone, but yes.
You know, but, and I still feel bad that I woke you up the other morning.
Oh, that's okay.
But, you know, it was just, I found it slightly intimidating just because I hadn't done a lot of the Hangouts beforehand.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't really know anybody?
I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody going in.
Yeah, I had a similar story that Rappaport's heard like a million times. I did not even know there was a H.I.R.L. I crashed it. I was on Google Plus, and I was like one of the first ones of my friends. Everybody kind of left, and I was just using it sort of like as a journal, and like I posted to the circles, and I really had nobody in my circles, and I wasn't really interested in finding new people. Because I just was like, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy. There's other issues involved, and so I only the only person in my circle was Daria Musk, and I saw that she was doing a concert, and I thought, well, it's Friday. I'm gonna be at work really late, but it's still Friday. I should go and try to have some fun, and I did, and I walked in towards the end of the crazy lumberjack hippie chick that went on before her, and turns out that there was somebody I knew in real life that I hadn't seen in a few years sitting 2 seats in front of me. And so after the concert, I had a few minutes of conversation with him, and somebody I've never met before said, hey, we're going out to this restaurant for an after party. You want to come? And I was like, sure. And that was basically it. And then I got sucked in to the Super Bowl Perl, and
Hey, Julie.
yeah.
Hi.
And Julie is here. Julie has not been to a H.I.R.L. But I do find it amusing. The 3 women are here, and all 3 women are wearing the glasses. I like it. Look at that. You got the eyewear, and Rayan's like, I have a pair probably somewhere.
I have a pair.
I do
You gotta
not
find
wear.
them.
I have my broken sunglasses around here somewhere in the car.
If I don't wear them, I can't see 2 inches in front of my face, so I kind of have no choice.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like my
in the same boat.
sunglasses.
You're all in the same blind boat. That's awesome.
Yes.
Let me put
And I
the
have my
broken
old
3D
lady, my
3D
old lady
broken
sunglasses,
glasses.
that I just put over my old one, my real ones, because I'm too cheap to get subscription sunglasses. So I just put these over, they're fully covered all over.
You're in Boca. It's like you're here, but you're in Boca. Because you're practicing for when you're old. Because old New Yorkers, if you don't know, old New Yorkers, they retire and they go down to live in Boca, which is near West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale, and they usually die in a car accident. It's really tragic. So, because they drive past that point. Anyway, am I okay? Yeah, I was doing a character. Just because you are a character does not mean you have character.
Life is made of characters.
Yes, yes, it
Especially
is.
when I write. So Julie, you've not been to a H.I.R.L. You've been hanging out like a fiend all over, hanging out.
Yeah, I've been trying to schedule a hangout in real life in Oklahoma, but there's not many people on Google Plus from Oklahoma.
How far away are you from Texas or Missouri?
I'm in Oklahoma City area, so I'm about 2.5 hours from Texas.
How is that? What's the nearest city? Austin, Dallas.
Dallas.
So could you do some kind of I know Oklahoma and Texas aren't friends, but could you do some kind of Oklahoma City, Dallas mixed H.I.R.L? That would help you find more people?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I used to live in Texas before I moved to Oklahoma, and I'm not a fan of Oklahoma, so if anybody's willing to do a H.I.R.L for Texas and Oklahoma, send me a message. I'm totally interested in doing that.
That'd be cool. And then I know Dallas. I mean, Dallas is not too far away from Austin.
No, it's not too
hours?
far.
Austin.
Austin is a little bit further. I went down there last year, and it took about 3 hours to get down there. About three and a half hours.
That's not too bad.
That's not bad.
Far. It's like how long it takes us to get to Atlantic City.
That's with no stops, though, whatsoever.
Right. That's all right.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what? And everyone's summer. Anything happening in everyone's summer? An event, a barbecue, a beach, a weekend, a vacation, a moment that they want to talk about that happened to them? Anyone?
I'm just trying to stay cool because it's been a hot summer here. I mean, we got 113 degrees today.
Oh.
But me and my family were thinking about going camping this summer, but with the heat, that's not exactly something fun.
Wow. So, and is it really humid or no?
No, it's dry. It's a dry heat.
If it was humid, you would die. Probably.
I probably would prefer humid because I spent several months in South Carolina during summer, and it wasn't as bad as everybody said it would be.
Wait, are you saying that dry is better than humid? Because that's the argument.
No, I think it's the other way. I think humid. I like humid better than dry. I don't know why.
Oh, is what I meant. Yeah. Why? No. Why? If it's humid, you're going to be instantly wet, and the air is going to be bad. If it's dry, you won't have any of that. Really, you'd be
Well,
sweating.
I'd rather feel sticky than feel like my skin's a desert.
Okay, well, on that note.
Okay.
Well, I got a haircut about like 3 weeks ago.
Cool.
Oh,
nice.
2 weeks ago. I'm sorry, 2 weeks
and
ago.
Did it come,
yeah.
and it came out how you wanted it to come out, or?
No, it did not.
It did not. No.
He cut my bangs too short, and like there's this weird gap now. Like I don't know where the hair is that's supposed to.
Was he trying to make it like you're like a? Did you think he was a dentist or something?
I don't know, but here's the thing: when I like complained about it when we were done, he's like, "Oh, I was distracted by your beautiful face."
And so he couldn't he have fixed it?
No, I mean, how do you fix like the hair? Like I don't know where it is.
You cut more of it.
Oh no, it's already too short.
There's another guy answer, Matt.
My bad.
Just
wear a
shave it
hat.
all off.
I don't know. Yeah, shave it all off. Get a faux hawk. I don't know. Get
Like
a faux hawk.
this.
You're
Get like a
just
just leave like a little tail in the back, like in a heart shape.
I was like, the whole point of bangs is to hide my freaking giant forehead.
Giant foreheads are not as bad as you think they are.
So it was the first time I had bangs since I was 12, and this is probably why I stopped getting them when I was 12.
All right. You shouldn't bang that much when you're 12, I hear.
Ew.
Anyway.
You just said that, didn't you?
Hey, we're live. It's late night with Matt Rappaport. Welcome, Rayan. Like that joke.
And
Hey,
we
Rayan, you
can
got
go
any
all
jokes?
night
Knock,
now.
knock. Who's there?
Matthew Rappaport just made a joke.
Matthew Rappaport just made a joke. Who?
Matthew Rappaport just made a joke.
Oh, that was funny. Funny. Anyone do any impersonations or impressions? Get some of that going.
Never tried
I'm
that.
not good at impressions.
Nothing. What about the nanny? Can you do like Fran Drescher? Bronwyn? Nothing.
I don't know if you're high enough.
I'm not. Not on what yours. Not on brownies.
Not
Don't do
a-
that.
No, it's like her voice is really annoying, so I try not to listen to it, so I don't even know how I would even try.
I want to hear Rayanne try it.
Man, try doing like Fran Drescher's voice.
Because you're going to go from that really deep voice to the really...
What are you saying? I don't have a really deep voice.
Fail? No.
This is a little deeper than yours.
I don't know. Mine's deep too. What are you
Like,
talking about?
like,
bit,
really,
a little bit.
It was like, it was really
Little bit,
nasally,
little bit.
right? Like,
Yeah, you gotta have a big schnoz and
Oh, let's
Mr. Sheffield.
And you might have-
schnoz.
and you might have to be
Oh
a little
my
bit more
God.
Jewish as well.
You gotta be
That's the problem,
Jewy
Matt.
to be chewy. The Jewy song. Jewy
I'm
cookie.
not.
Does anybody have any good cookies, ice cream, or any kind of good dessert lately?
I have some ice cream that I've been eating on. It's
haven't-
chocolate Oreo ice cream.
That sounds
Chocolate Oreo.
I haven't
Chocolate
opened it yet, but I have a Hello Kitty Pez.
Well, it's cookies and cream of Oreos, but the ice cream itself is also chocolate flavored. So
No!
it's chocolate on chocolate.
That's too much. That's all.
You never have enough chocolate. What are you talking about?
Ooh, see, I can't do chocolate.
Can you do vanilla?
I do not like chocolate.
I do not like it on my eggs. I do
I
not
do
like
not like it on
in
my eggs. I
ends.
do not like it on my head. I do not like
do
it
not-
in bed. I don't like chocolate.
You don't. Oh, you're not into the chocolate in bed? Okay, that's.
No, I don't like chocolate. I like white chocolate, but that's not real chocolate.
It's
Well,
white.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's,
What about
it's just
dark
not.
chocolate?
It's the flavor. It's not a consistency issue. It's a flavor with me.
But you look like you got some flavor.
Oh well, maybe.
A little flavor.
Is it just all chocolate or a specific type, like milk chocolate or dark chocolate? That you
No,
have a
actually,
problem
it's all chocolate. I've never really liked chocolate, even since I was a kid. I just never really, enjoyed having it.
Well, I like milk chocolate, but if you were to give me a choice between white chocolate and milk chocolate, I'll go white chocolate all the time. Even though it's not really chocolate, there's just like there's just a better taste to it.
I would
it's
go.
like
I go dark
smoother-
chocolate now.
Smoother consistency.
Right.
I go,
and it's like
yeah.
Dark
milk chocolate. I like milk chocolate, but I cannot eat dark chocolate. I don't know why, but it's
It's
just
too
like
bittersweet, or
I don't know.
I got, you know what? To me, it was like when I'm a kid, I'm drinking soda, I'm eating milk chocolate, and then as you get older, soda and milk chocolate become like overly sweet, and it's like overabundance of sweetness. Like, no, I could still do it, but it's not. It just.
It's not your favorite thing.
It's not as a kid. It's like overpowering. It's overpowering. It's almost like taking all the sweet and eating it all, versus having like just a little sweet and making it more special. You know?
That's
Does that
true.
make sense?
No, that's true. I made the best cookies though, because I made an oatmeal cookie that had white chocolate chips and dried apple in it.
Ooh.
That's good.
So
So I justified it with the apples, saying they're healthy.
I like them apples. They're healthy. I
And
like
they got
them.
apple. Yeah, they got apples in it. They got oatmeal in it. And
Pork
okay, so
chops
they
and
have some white
chocolate
chocolate.
applesauce. Now you know what's good? We had chocolate bacon they have here in New York, which I would love to take you guys, and it was really good. Where was we don't? It was.
Oh
do you,
my God.
Can you
We
take
have
me
that
guys
at
back?
the all the time.
Yes,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
it was
Oh, I missed that.
Oh God.
We're gonna go there.
Club.
I'm gonna find Thursday
was,
night. Maybe we're gonna go there and have chocolate bacon.
I want to call.
Maybe.
I think it was
Or
Club.
something like.
I know it was Club something.
That's okay.
And,
Yeah, they had chocolate
yeah.
bacon. They had guac. They had different spices of guacamole, like different medium, mild. Usually you have chicken wings, but there was guacamole. You want mild, medium, and hot.
Yeah. I
Which
will.
was
I will
interesting.
Google Map the hell. I'm gonna Google Map this.
Please
It
reference
was,
Google. Thank you.
I'm gonna Google
I
Map
love Google.
this
I
place.
know.
I know that it was on 13th Street.
So while you're looking that up, I had a theory, and probably a lot of people have this theory. Speaking of Google, is that everyone's like, "Oh, Google Plus this and that," and whether it's going to be big. But I mean, you see the glasses, you see the products. You're like, Google's obviously going to take Google Plus and put it on everything they have. And now with Google Fiber, everyone's like, "Oh my God, I want Google Fiber!" Like yesterday, because literally, for those of you who don't know, the speed of Google Fiber, and Mike Searle, who's in Kansas City, was talking about it with me too. Literally, something that would take you 20 to 22 minutes to download takes you 7 seconds. That's how fast it is. And
I want
it costs the same, $120 I think, gets you cable, gets you the internet, gets you, I think you there's extra fee, you get a Nexus 7 which becomes your remote control. And then Mike said for an extra $300 you can also get a Chromebook. And literally what's going to be on it? Google TV and Google Plus will be all over it, I'm sure. And so people are going to have Google Fiber. Once they Google Fiber the crap out of the country, and if the world, if they do that, and they got Google glasses out there, everyone's gonna have Google Plus, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I have Facebook, but guess what? All my devices use Google Plus." So, what do you think on that? Anyone want Rayan? Want to jump in on that?
The
Anyone else?
bar is called 675 Bar.
Oh yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're obviously planning for world domination. So
Obviously, but
Well,
what do you
You
think? What do you
think?
think? So do you think what this will be? That's good enough to putting Google Plus on every, offering more awesome stuff and saying and making the internet as fast as hell. And if they make the internet literally that fast and they offer TV too, are they going to put companies out of business, or it'll never get to be that mainstream?
I hope not, because competition's good.
competition's great, but also you have to look at it from more of a building upon a platform standpoint. You know, Google Plus is a platform, and it's going to be a platform where eventually businesses are going to be able to build and strive right off of it. That's actually my slight prediction. You know, I think it's cool. I think yeah, you know, it's a little slow in terms of adoption. They did say that they have millions and millions of users. It's, you know, it's no Facebook, and we all know that. However, you know, like any new product that comes out, a lot of times I've tried new services that were just brand new. Not everybody really jumped the gun on it. But it takes some time for adoption. And I think over time, I think more and more people are going to start getting a little into it. I know a lot of my friends just recently, my real life friends, I'm now starting to see them just barely engage on Google Plus a little more, at least join the service. So it's a start. You know, we can only predict and see where else they're going to go ahead and take it.
No, I think that's I do. You know, I agree that, you know, competition is good, and I do agree also with you, Rand, that, you know, people are just scratching the surface. You know, like my friends as well, the ones that are just, you know, I'm trying for months to get them to leave Facebook and try Google Plus and just see the difference.
Yeah.
And you know, my daughter is a Google Plus freak. She is constantly posting, doing things.
So wait, you got your daughter addicted to Google Plus? Was she on
She is
Facebook
addicted
first?
to Google Plus. She is constantly doing
Was
that.
she
So I
on
have to
Facebook
watch
first,
who's
or-
in her circles.
Was she on Facebook first?
She had a Facebook account because I gave her one, but she didn't really ever use it. She didn't like it.
Oh, how old
And
is she?
she said she just didn't like the platform, basically. And, you know, she knew after the last H.I.R.L, she's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, well, this is my Google Plus account." So she started watching it, and she's like, "I have to have one."
How old is she? Around.
She's almost 11.
Wow, that's cool. She was like, Mom's doing something really cool and hip, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, she gets a little worried about Mom sometimes. I get the, you can't wear that because you look like my sister instead of my mother.
Aww.
But
Mom
she's a
looked
mean
too
version of
hot for
so.
me to go out. No good.
She's asleep behind me, actually. But the one thing that I think that this is going to do, you know, this platform and what they're going for, is it's going to cause a lot more innovation, you know, by a lot other companies. So there's going to be more for people to look at, as opposed to, okay, we're kind of stuck on this level.
Right.
So I think it's actually going to not only raise Google even higher, it's going to allow other companies to kind of also join in with the competition, but cause a lot more innovation and great products that are going to come out soon.
Yeah, and I also think it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like everyone was, I don't know if they're going to rub it in, but people are going to, all these companies and all these people that are like, oh, we don't really care about Google and Google Plus, and we don't care, it's not there, da-da-da. All this stuff is coming out, and it's all going to hit, everyone's going to have it, and you'll be like, why didn't we get on this months ago?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of my clients right now, they're just calling me up lately, and they're asking me, I want to add SEO to my site. And I'm thinking, like, wait, SEO? They're like, yes. I said, why don't you go social? Like, we want to do keyword optimization.
Huh.
Okay, but you're a business to consumer. Yeah. Okay, we'll get on social network. What are you doing?
Right? They're not thinking that next step through.
Yeah, they're not even on there. And what's going to end up happening is, you know, like search engine optimization, we had that big boom where marketers and, you know, like a lot of businesses were throwing keywords left and right and really trying to take up a good chunk of the search result space. But now these days, people are using the internet because they want to connect with people.
Right.
And what better way to find out about a company if other users start suggesting it, or if you actually interact with the company one-on-one.
And something that Google has that Facebook and Twitter don't really have, I don't think. And I guess you could hook Yelp or something up to Facebook, but yeah, I did a Google Local. I know that I did an event with Google Local, and I'm doing another one. It's fun. They're fun, and there are locals they have them in all cities across the world, and literally seeing those reviews right there, are just seeing like people that you're friends with. You know, like as you get to know more people in your area, you're like, oh, okay, so I'm looking for a place, and I see, oh, look, Matthew wrote something about this place. Let me look. Let me go try it out. You know, it's not just it's random strangers. You know,
Right.
That's more weight to it.
Oh, absolutely.
So, have you guys looked at Google Local a little bit? Have you ever just typed in places you noticed what people said on Google Local about them, or if there was a review, or?
Yeah, a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
started exploring. You know, we started exploring it a little bit to see what's here, to see what actually pops up. So it's been interesting, and I think that the format is really good. You know, there's still, I think, some tweaks needing to be done because people are just discovering it, so they're finding, oh, well, we can, you know, find this information and add it in, but it doesn't have this particular thing that I'm looking for. It's slowly still getting there, at least here.
And
I think from a mobile space, from the mobile side of things, whenever you're on maps and you want to go ahead and look up the nearest restaurant within your area, I've actually found it extremely helpful just to see, hey, this restaurant has a 26 rating versus a 19. So chances are I'm probably going to end up going to there, and that's obviously being powered by mobile.
Now, can we do they let you rate? Do they let people rate movies like that, or not yet? I mean, it'd be interesting to see if you can do that with Google products. And be like, you're going to rate a TV show, you're going to rate a movie, you're going to rate, I don't know, anything, a theater, a concert, a band. Hey, Brooke.
Hi, Brooke.
Hello.
Welcome to Hangout Conversation.
And Brooke is keeping up with the glasses thing. This is cool.
She is. Now we have 4 glasses in a row, female glasses.
I've never seen that many people with glasses in a hangout.
Well, and all women, all female glasses. Look at that. So we were talking
Rayan's
about
on the end.
Google's explosion, and what were you saying, Rayan? I'm sorry.
Basically, I don't know if they're going to allow, maybe they might tap into the movie rating spectrum, but I don't necessarily see that as really the next option that they're going to do. I mean, I know with the search engines, they're trying to make search better. I know that they've given a presentation in Google I/O last year about rich searching, where you can search recipes on Google, and it would actually allow you choose, well, you know, what kind of ingredients do you want to use if you want to make like a turkey stuffing recipe? I do recall that there was a person that was asking for real estate. Well, what if we want to search for homes? Well, I can just go ahead and customize the search for that, and that wasn't necessarily an area that they wanted to go into. And you can tell they were a little hesitant to really answer that.
Or maybe they're hesitant because it's something they're working on and they don't want to give it away. That happens too.
It's possible that it's something that they're working on. They don't want to give it away. But I know when it came to Google trying to acquire what the Fly software on the phone, it was pretty much like the Kayak version of Google.
Right.
Or the Google version of Kayak. Let's put it this way, where it actually allowed you to search for flights, and it actually helped integrate within the map services. So they had a use for that. And I think they had to sign a contract stating that other insurance agencies or travel agencies would, not be thrown
Didn't they come out with something with the planes where you can book your planes on Google? Was it called Google Planes or Flights or something that came out recently?
Yeah.
For a year?
Well, I think essentially what they want to do is if you're opening up maps and you want to go from A to B. I know they show you the trans system services that hey, you can go ahead and take this, but they may also show you a service where you may want to go ahead and take a plane, and this is how much the fare is going to cost. If you want to go from California to New York, this is the cheapest flight.
Right, which is great because usually you have to look forever to find something.
Right, I would have to go on an external website, but because it integrates very nicely with their map services, then you realize that Maps is no longer just how do I get from point A to point B, but also, it consolidates all that information into one, how to make it easy for you to travel from point A to point B. It's a solution. It's a problem solver. So,
go ahead.
Unless, they do have ratings, I know, on Android for Google Play movies.
Mm-hmm.
These are rating movies. So maybe they do have something coming out where they're going to take that Google Play of movies and music and somehow integrate it even further.
I would love to see them take Google Play and let all artists, filmmakers, I know they let musicians, all kind of artists, art people that do art, photography, and let them sell images in their own movies right on Google Play. I mean, that would be, and use Google Plus. I mean, there's so many, the photographers, musicians, filmmakers.
Yeah, you can do that with music right now. On
music, yeah,
Google
but not
Play.
with all art. Right.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, there's always a medium to.
Oh, sure. I just meant with the confines of Google. But when Schemer first came out, the first thing I thought of was there's a site called Flickchart. I had the two guys there on Google Plus. I did a show with them months back, and it was ranking movies against each other to see which are your top movies, and I thought that would be a great thing to have with circles, because then you could rank movies with your circles, and you can invite people to the I guess like if it's Kill Bill versus Star Wars or whatever. And you could have a whole thread and a whole discussion and share it to Google Plus, and just like you do with Schema, I thought it would be another just logical place for them to go. But
right.
That kind of idea, being able to have discussions and in fact today,
there's quite a bit that they can do, but also you have to keep in mind that they're looking to make these products scalable at the same time, and that's something that I think that they've been very careful about in the past. Whenever they go ahead and create a product, they don't want to necessarily be like that Facebook, right? Where they create the product, everybody gets used to using it, and then all of a sudden they'll flip the switch the very next day. Which they've done, Facebook's done on many different occasions. Luckily, the last occasion with the timeline, they've actually allowed users to opt into that, which was a great thing that it's a lot less complaints, a lot less frustrations, but with Google, you kind of notice that they've kind of started off simple, a little too simple, even a little less polished at first. And they've gone through several polishing stages to actually get to the product that you're using now, and it's always been scalable. They've always been able to pack new features and not have to sacrifice any major features, major key features that people would use the platform for. So that's also something that they would have to, I feel that, they are probably thinking of ways to integrate these things, but they want to be able to find ways to integrate it correct the first time. So.
Well, that makes sense.
So Brooke just left, and then Julie said she'll be right back. I pulled up this. So Peter McDermott I had on my show way back in like October, and I asked him some questions, and I was wondering if they would be relevant to ask you guys. First thing I see here is this is back when Facebook made it. There like some massive new changes, and I said, what were his thoughts? Is it alienating users? Do you guys feel like Facebook is, even today with the IPO and everything that's going on, do you feel like it's alienating users and pissing users off? The whole thing about the what was the thing that they had bots with the ads, that story that the Facebook ads were being done with bots, so people were spending money that were not real clicks. Do you guys think that people are getting sick of Facebook and they're going to turn to Google Plus for something else or off the internet?
That's kind of what pushed me away from Facebook over a year ago. I remember there was a story that they were taking people's pictures and putting them in ads. And that kind of made me feel kind of uncomfortable because I don't want it saying, oh, this person's trying to find you, and they're using my picture and without my permission. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they have in their user agreement, oh, we can use anything you have. But that was one of the big things that really turned me away from Facebook.
And then the new thing, that was last year, and the ads were on the sidebar, and the new thing is now that the ads are appearing in streams and or in feeds. I'm sorry, news feeds, because that's Facebook, news feeds. And so people were complaining because they would be in political ads, and it would be, you know, for a position or a politician that they didn't support, and that was a problem. And I remember reading about that, I think a month or two ago, and I just was like, this is ridiculous. Like, how can you do that? But they found, didn't they just say yesterday that 10% of all Facebook users are fake?
I think I read something about that, yeah.
So, I mean...
83 million Facebook accounts are fakes and dupes.
So, but they've been saying that they say that about all the websites, so, that there could be fake users. I mean, when Google Plus talks about its numbers, oh yeah, we have 270 or we have over 300. I mean, do you think, I've been on websites, literally social sites, they were always smaller. They literally would, and maybe the number count was wrong, but they literally would have the number count, and as new people joined, it would show the number count. And I know in the Facebook movie they showed like that number count like on a big screen. Do you think it would just be cool just to have a number count of users or running like a jackpot sign, or that would be stupid?
I mean, do we really need to know that though?
I mean, we don't need to. What do we need to know?
I would like to know, just for curiosity's sakes, to keep track of growth and everything else. I definitely would like to know that information.
I mean, like every day, like constantly, like seeing how, I don't know. Just...
If they had a section, I mean, it wouldn't be really a great user experience to have it, sitting there on the front every time they log in or every time they go through the site. But if they had the information listed publicly, I mean, I don't know, maybe for competitors' sake, they wouldn't list it. But you know what? They are making these quarterly reports. They are sending out some news, and I think it gets people hyped up about it when they see that there's numbers coming out that is showing growth. You have all the stockholders investing all at once, and making that radical change versus just somebody just watching the numbers every single day and just deciding when are they going to invest, when are they going to stop. So,
I guess you make a good point. I mean, to me, I think that the more information we can see, the better. The more honest I hope they could be. I was even saying this, is there's a lot of things that they're doing, and they're mum about future plans, even though they're working on it. There's tons of things they're always working on that are always going to come out. If I'm a musician, I sing sometimes, so whatever, I can do it. And today, I'm like, okay, Hangouts are great, but the sound quality isn't that great. And so if I'm one of those people, and then I'm like, all right, I tried it, but the sound quality wasn't what I wanted, and I'm like, I'm out of here, then all those people leave, but Google's working on making that sound better for musicians. So, and that's kind of been going around publicly. It's been out there a little bit. So instead of like those people like just checking out and then coming back eventually or not, why not like say, okay, you know what? We know you want to see this. We know you want to see that. And guess what? don't just say, oh, it's coming. They like to say, and that's coming. But instead of just saying it's coming, say, you know, we are working on that. We project that to be in the next 2 or 3 months. You know, we project, and they might say, well, if we do that, well, then we're not going to have any surprises. But sure, you can still keep little things here and there as surprises, but I think it just makes sense to be like, this is the direction we're going and what we're improving. You know, they talk about we get all this feedback on all these features and we try to prioritize based on that and based on whatever. Why not, at this point, we're over a year in, I mean, why not talk about plans? Why, you know, like, if it's something that's going to be so out there, like they're going to open their own movie studio that's going to make movies, fine, but if we're talking about a feature, you know, like, I don't know, I just think it makes sense to keep people informed. Like, say, there's no place on Google Plus anywhere that Google controls except for the Google Plus page that actually has, like, news, updated news. They should have a place that lists every time there's an updated feature. People can announce it, but there should be a place where I can click new features or updated features, and I could see either the posts, or I could literally see, like, this is what it is, and this is how to use it, like, in a section of Google Plus. I think makes sense. You know?
Kind of like a change log.
Kind of like what?
Kind of like a change log.
Yeah. What do you say?
I kind of agree and I kind of disagree with that. The only thing is that Google's had labs, for example, let's say labs for Gmail, where they announce certain features. A lot of those features that you find in labs, they either make it to the final product or they don't. And so there's a lot of internal testing on what they think might work, and they test it out internally. They may actually have it in certain users available, and you know, they go ahead and test it out. If it doesn't work, they're not going to release it out to the public.
Yeah, but then they start Google Plus with Sparks, and that goes away. And they had incoming, and that went away. So is it different? Is that different?
Well, maybe they went away for a reason.
But I'm just saying the public knew about it and they used it, and then it went away. So I feel like Google doesn't test as much as you think they do. Because
maybe, well, I'm just trying to think. You know, Sparks, yeah, you search for a keyword, and it collectively takes all these articles and gives you a nice little news feed. It's like an e-reader in a way, or an RSS feed. The problem, I think, is that they wanted users to start sharing the content, and that's what would drive these news platforms, is based on what the users are sharing. I think it almost makes it a discourage for people to share because it's already available, and if you don't want to subscribe to it, you won't.
Right.
I mean, they may have so many different reasons on why they kept it. I mean, it was separate to begin with. Now you notice all the feeds are all meshed together. Even circles. We used to have, you know, that long circles list, and now they have it just on the top. They show you like 2 or 3.
And they have to drop I like the old way was way better. I use it less now.
So did I.
Absolutely. And maybe they had their reason for trying, you know, to.
Yeah, they made the site look neater, but I feel like they made the site look nicer and neater, but they made it harder to do things, and so people are doing less things, and you see it. People are hanging out less. People are posting less. It might be more users here, but I feel like overall people can't. Before you can scroll through up and down, you could go through like a ton of them, and now when you scroll, everything's bigger, so you don't see as much, and you get to the more button quicker, and then you have to click the more button. You know, it's a lot more work.
There are some things about the more recent design. You know, they made that design back in April, and there's certain things where I can see that makes sense with it, and there's certain things where I actually honestly prefer the old way, but ultimately I feel what it may come down to is that they may have hit a roadblock. And one of the things that really kind of hints at that is in the old design, we used to have those 5 tabs on the top. We used to have, you know, here's your stream, here's your circles, manage your circles, and whatever information, I forget, it's been a while.
Yeah,
and now they have it all shoved off, you know, right here onto the side.
And you move around. Sometimes they move around on you.
And it's expandable, and once you expand it, it takes up the whole entire page. So maybe they were just fearing that, okay, well, if we wanted to get all those things that we have currently now on the side and put up across the top, how are users going to react to that? Is it going to provide a great usability experience for users, or, you know, are we going to have to change up certain things? The one thing that is kind of bugging me a little bit is, yeah, you know, on a desktop monitor, that top bar, when you scroll down, it's always remaining on the top, so you feel like your content area is a little less
Smaller.
visible.
It's it's smaller, but overall, like each post is bigger.
Yeah.
Which is
So
not good. I don't like.
you know, and we have that white space that's still there.
There's
That
just
they say
Right, the white
they're going to
space will
come up with
never.
something, right?
One day, the white space. That was funny. And if I was working there, I'd be like, guess what, guys? You're gonna leave that white space there. Guess what? There's gonna be memes about that white space, and there'll be more content for you. Yeah.
No, we had, I think, what was it, like a whole week or two of just white space memes,
White space
like people
memes.
putting
Oh,
like,
more than
up
that.
there and something just silly
yeah.
and dumb.
I think my favorite ones were like the ones that had like Keanu in them and like the whoa Keanu with the white space, and I forgot what it said, but it was just like hilarious, and I thought it was really funny. But you just can't make when something that you do makes, you know, inspires that many memes, you know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And if it's a bad thing, then you need to go faster, making, you know, correcting it. And it's been since April, and that white space is still there.
Yeah, and even what they put in there, it still doesn't take up that much space.
Right.
Like trending and everything else. They really need to fill that up.
But if you think about it, I think the white space, I mean, just having it was actually a good thing. I thought it was funny. I mean, I don't know. I think everybody got a kick out of it. Even
For a day.
online news journals
Well,
started even reporting
they have
about
nothing
this.
better to talk about. Seriously.
Right, yeah, there's nothing better to talk about, so let's talk about this white space.
I mean, literally, they've been talking about Google Plus being a ghost town and dead forever and a day, and that's like that story gets rehashed like nobody's business. You know. But yeah, the white space too. So what are some of the things that like you feel like you can't do? You really wish you could do. I mean, a lot of people complain about notifications still to this day, and and I know for a fact when you send someone a really limited message or private message, especially if you don't use a picture, but even then, they miss it. I feel like a lot of people miss these little tiny private messages. They go unnoticed because when you're in notifications, you see these big things and you see all these people interacting, and as you're scrolling, maybe maybe it was like one little sentence or one little thing, and you go right past it or it's not there and you miss it. So do you guys, I was always in favor of some kind of notification center, something that looks sort of like a Gmail or something. And I know you can get your notifications in Gmail, but what were we to say?
No, that's the thing I've noticed is that sometimes users will go ahead and post posts or, you know, send me a private message, and I apologize in advance if anybody has, and I haven't responded yet.
They're all watching.
But basically, it's I've noticed that sometimes you could search for it in Gmail, because I know we have that little circles area now, where you could actually search for the post, and you see, hey, it's addressed to you, and it's an email format. The only thing is, I did add a filter on my Gmail to throw all the Google Plus stuff in there, because I'd rather not have 20 messages a day just filling up my inbox and focus on more of my personal things. So, yeah, I feel that notification definitely needs to, there's a lot of opportunities for improvement. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to go ahead and tackle that, especially since, they have Schemer also. They have a lot of other Google services. How are we going to be able to kind of make this work out?
Do you feel like to call it, everything is it's one thing if it's a feature in Google Plus, and Google Plus is everything, but it's like, all right, there's Google this, and there's Google that, and there's Google this, and there's Google that, and there's Google this. It's not like, it's like everything becomes a product, even though putting them all together, and they come out with new things. They come out with Schemer, they come out with I guess they made places into Logo or Google, whatever, Google Now. There's so many Google Fiber, everything is Google. I mean, can you have too many products?
I think there's going to be a drug called Google eventually.
I mean, at some point you're probably going to, but where that point is, who knows? We'll find out when it happens.
I mean, when you're drinking Google water and you're eating Google food, then we'll know that they've
gone too far.
Too far.
Right. It's like I don't want to compare like Google to
Abercrombie
like
and Google
or a boy bands, but it's like boy bands are really hot things, and then like and you start seeing like T-shirts, bed sheets, garbage cans, and then it's just like at one point you're just like, I'm done. It's over. Like overkill. And like Google, maybe it's been years and it hasn't happened yet, but they've in the last year or so they've really blown up, and I don't know.
So we know we'll hit the saturation point when we can get Google Sheets.
Yeah, right.
Google toilet paper.
Yeah, there you go.
It's crazy. I don't think we're gonna. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna eventually realize we don't need to do that. I mean, there's a lot of. It's not like Google's gonna say, "All right, let's make tissues and compete against Kleenex," All right.
Well, I mean, I would probably, if they gave it to me for free, I would probably have Google Sheets. But
let me ask you this: if you were in the store, though, Bronwyn, or anything, you see a product and you see it's Google, even the shampoo. Would you'd be curious? Would you buy it? Would you be like, "Oh my God, this is so cool"?
I probably would, because I'm not trying to sound like I'm kissing up to Google, but I really would have Google bed sheets, Google shampoo if they had it. I mean, because they're not perfect, but they've had a pretty good track record, in my opinion. So I would be willing to trust a brand Google just based on the name alone.
Interesting.
Well, who knows?
Dissertations will be written about that.
Yeah, I bet. Google cheese.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how many ads are going to be put on that bed sheet, or.
Wait, so Google recipes, right?
You don't click that ad with your beep. Oh no, you can't click on your ads.
I think they would have the recipe for government cheese. So I haven't had a government grilled cheese sandwich in a really long time.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, it's a good thing that but it was a bad thing to stop making it. It was a good thing my family went off welfare.
Right.
But I think Google can't have too many products, though, because if they have so many products, it's going to be hard to concentrate on all those products. You're going to have those things that are ignored and neglected. I mean, Marissa, when she was with Google, I mean, she leaded a lot of products like iGoogle, and it just simply got left to the wayside. And so I think there is going to be a problem if they keep bringing out more products, trying out new things. And I think they just need to focus on what they already have and make it better, and then work on and implementing new systems.
Well, I think it'd just be easier if, to come up with a new thing instead of just saying Google X. Why not just make it a feature on Google Plus and be like it's part of Google Plus? Like that saves from having to call it Google whatever because it's part of Google. I don't know. It just seems like I don't think Microsoft and Apple have as many. Does anybody have as many products? Technology company that has as many things where it's this and that and this and I don't
think they separate them out that much.
Nobody else does, right? I don't think so.
Yeah, but Microsoft and Apple, they're more. Didn't they start off more like gadgety, and Google started out more like.
No, Microsoft was software.
Software, yeah.
I don't know. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Well, Microsoft did get their hands dirty in a lot of different things. They have Xbox. They have a lot of enterprise solutions.
Right. And if Google does come out with a gaming console, we'll know. Once the gaming, and it makes sense if they're doing fiber with TV and stuff and Google TV, they could probably just add a gaming section to Google TV, right, and have games on it.
Why have a console when you can play some of your favorite role-playing games?
Right on digital. It's all, right, everything's digital or that. Yeah, exactly. That's true. You just add it to that. Does anyone have Google TV or try it?
I want it really bad.
I have a Roku, but
yeah, I wish I could afford, some of the better Google things like Google TV or the Nexus.
Does anyone have the Nexus?
On their Nexus?
No.
I don't.
I have Galaxy Nexus 2 in my household now.
Phones, you mean?
The what? The Galaxy Nexus. I got 2 of those.
You bought what we're talking about, the Nexus 7?
Oh, the Nexus 7. You're
talking about that? Yeah.
No, I want it. I want the 16 gig, but that right now is $299. I think I'm gonna wait.
Isn't the Nexus 7 literally like the size of Kindle Fire almost? It's a 7-inch.
Yeah,
it's small.
Competitor for the Kindle Fire, and now Apple, they're supposedly gonna release a 7-inch tablet for $199 just to attack
in the
Google.
market. Well, no, it'd be in the marketplace. It makes sense. It wouldn't be out there. What else up here I have? It says back when I interviewed him, that's when sharing circles first came out. So now that was way back when. So let's talk about sharing circles. Have you ever shared a circle? Do you have any opinions about shared circles? Are they Do you prefer? Do you like them when they're smaller? Do you bigger? Do you don't indifferent about shared circles?
I actually prefer them smaller.
Yes.
Same here. Yeah, because
You
I
know,
don't want
when
to add a
they're
group. Of
yeah, when you're
300
getting a
people.
circle that's got 500 people in it,
Yeah.
you know.
But what if those 500 people have been approved by, say, I don't know, me?
Ooh, well, if it's by you,
Well,
well.
yeah, then I probably would though.
Well, I mean, let's say for starters,
No, I get your point.
for starters, anybody who starts on the Google Plus platform, they see 500 people that they want to go ahead and accept. I think it's just a little overwhelming. They don't even have 500 people in their own circles. So.
But why not? What are they gonna? What clicking that and adding those people? What's gonna happen? You know what's gonna happen? Boom! There'll be more content. That's it. Like, what else? What I mean, it's more content versus less content overall, right?
Right. Well, quality versus quantity.
Quality of content is really important, though.
Yeah.
Well, but we can talk about quality and quantity all day. But there are people that post less, and it's crap, and there are people that post more, and it's good, or vice versa. And I don't think there's maybe you guys can name people, but I don't think that anyone will post something every single time off the bat, and you're gonna be like, yes, I like that every time they post. I mean, even I, who posts like crazy sometimes, have to post something. You're like, oh my god, why? I don't know why he's posting that. I'm sure that happens, or to anyone, you know.
I remember when somebody shared you, Circle, when I added you, I had you confused with somebody else on YouTube. I'm not going to mention his name.
Chris
but
Perl?
No.
All
He's very big on YouTube. I won't mention his name because I find him very annoying. And I thought you were him, and for the longest time, I didn't want to add you. And then I added you, and I was pleasantly surprised.
It's not. You thought it was Mozart?
Yeah, Mozart. Why not?
No, that's not who. You thought it was like Ray William Johnson, right?
Yes, I did. I absolutely did.
I'm better looking than that guy.
You are actually.
Hey, YouTubers!
and I was
Eagles MC, man!
I'm like, I don't want to hear about this annoying person, and then I added you, and I was surprised. I'm like, you're not annoying at all.
Man, I'm making a lot of money off you guys watching me do this stuff. Yeah, man. Well, hey, that's cool. Could have been worse. Everyone calls me. People say this one girl was like, "You are Jonah Hill." I was like, "Great."
No, you're skinnier than him.
Well, I don't know. He's been fat and skinny. He lost a lot of weight, so he might weigh like 5 pounds. You have no idea who Jonah Hill is, or Ray William Johnson?
No.
Bronwyn Hill. I'm calling Bronwyn McGuckin. I just got called you Bronwyn Hill. Don't marry Jonah Hill.
Well, that's actually kind of funny that you call me that because so every Christmas or every Christmas for the last 7 years, 6 years, 6 years. What I do is I take a photo of me and I insert like a Jewish celebrity or partially Jewish celebrity. Or whatever.
And why Jewish?
Because it's Christmaka!
Oh, because Jews are hot? Okay.
Because Jews are hot, yes.
Absolutely.
And and last year's picture was actually like me and Jonah Hill.
And can we see that picture?
Yeah, let me find it.
Fine. Wait, how many of them do you have? Tell me you haven't been Bronwyn Rogan, have you?
No, I haven't. The thing is that like
you've definitely been Bronwyn Rudd, right? Every girl's been Rudd.
I did one in 2005. I didn't do one in 2006. The one I did in 2007 is on a computer I can no longer access. I have 8, 9, 10, and 11. I didn't do 10, but I did 10. I finished 10. Yeah, I did.
And so, which one out of the 11 did you find the cutest?
I'm gonna have to go with the first one I did, which was being Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Wait, I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. All right, so pick someone that's within 10 years of your age, and try again.
I'm gonna marry him one day.
Okay, so who would be second? Sorry, I love you, old people, but really. Anyway. Bill Nye. That's like me saying yes, B. Arthur. Oh, she's dead. I mean, Betty White. Why not?
Oh, Matt, that was
a B. Arthur. A football helmet full of tapioca. What? Okay, so I did Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Who's number 2?
Green.
Seth Green. You're taller than Seth Green. Yeah, oh wait, I love short. There's my argument.
I did Lewis Black.
Well, that makes sense.
I did.
That was my Louis Black impression.
Oh, I did. Jonah Hill, and who did
Twice.
I do? Right. No, I did, once. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Is he like a full Jew or half Jew or a fake Jew?
I don't know. I said it was like you had to your Wikipedia has to have the word Jewish in it to count, because I get it's because the photo because it's just their heads, and I have a photo with me and somebody else, and it's I gotta find somebody who fits your head would fit on, and it gets really difficult. And so I just have to go to Wikipedia, and I was like, "There's the word Jewish in there." I'm like,
is anybody else?
I bet you have the hots for Mel Brooks, don't you?
No, hold on. Let me find my.
What was that question again?
I don't even know anymore. Once you said Mel Brooks, all I can think about is Mel Brooks.
Oh.
Why didn't someone tell me my ass was this big? That's for things cover it, what?
Alright, let me reshare it.
Carl all the old Jews! It's Caesar! Is he even Jewish? So anybody else do this like Bronwyn? Maybe just
no, it was supposed
people,
to
not
be like
the Jews?
no, it was supposed to be
Shush me? Yes, shush me for silence, thank you.
Oh, sorry, no, I got a message from somebody. Shut up.
That's more than a message, that's a sign from above. Taking you down below.
This message
will self-destruct unless you come over and have whoopee cushions with me. Let's make whoopee cushions together.
It was supposed to be a group project, and everybody else was supposed to do it, and then nobody else did it.
Oh, is that
like
a threesome? Okay. That's a group project. Anyone else do this thing with women or men or Jews or shiksas or no one has lists?
Let me find the photos. And
I was gonna say B. Arthur, but you already did that.
Really?
Oh,
B. Arthur?
Is B.
Arthur your favorite Golden Girl?
She was. I thought she was awesome. You know,
more than a spaghetti?
Yes, more.
All right. What about you, Lisa? Did you have a favorite Golden Girl?
I have to go with Estelle. I really do.
Funny.
Yeah, I really liked her.
She's from Queens, and I heard even after Golden Girl, she would still live around Bayside where I live, and she'd go to the grocery store and be they made her 20 years older than she actually was on that show.
Right.
So. Yeah,
she was not that old.
Not that she was
young.
She's just not as. It's
elderly.
It's that area from age 60 to age 90 is a little. It's still 30 years, but there's this sense of scary time ahead. The golden years. Anyway, everyone that's 60 to 90 that's watching just tuned off, or they've been sleeping anyway.
But no, I loved her because she reminded me of my own Softa.
That's cool.
Yeah.
In what way?
Just the way she carried herself. Just that kind of dry wit that she had, and that she, just was always there with that comment that you didn't really necessarily expect, but you knew she had one, so it just kind of, the filter didn't actually kick in, so she'd comment on it. But no, that's exactly like my Softa. Nice.
I think that those people that their filters didn't kick in, I think that most of them, it's not that their filters didn't kick in. They're like, F you filter. They just didn't care about the filter. They're like, you people with filters, hey, you're boring. Just say
that
it.
Sounds a lot like my grandma, except for she was way more racist.
Oh, well, there is where the filter does work. Yeah, there are certain things you want to filter. Like hate. You don't want to hate. No. Filter. No, that's never good for anybody.
Alright, so there we go. Sharing.
Twitter thoughts. Oh, back then I said, does Twitter have a chance of surviving? And Twitter has survived, no matter what Google Plus and Facebook has done. No matter how many times they said Apple has a piece of Twitter. Do you guys use Twitter? Is it something that? I feel like I'm least active on Twitter. I looked at it more before, but I don't know. It's like I feel like Twitter is really a chore. Like you type something, like, oh, let me shorten it. I gotta shorten it. I gotta abbreviate this. I gotta get rid of this word. I will literally put I'll type something and I have to edit it, and it's not fun. I'm like, there's no fun. It takes me forever to try to fit 140 characters. Do you have that problem?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Do you anybody else have that issue when you're typing a tweet and you're like, it's too long? No.
I think it's too much work, and you do have to learn how to be brief, but sometimes you can't for what you want to say.
And abbreviate, yeah.
Yeah.
Like words, like instead of just saying the word, you have to. It's 2 letters or 1 letter. I think that's your abbreviation becomes A or
Yeah.
A.
See, I have enough problems spelling, so trying to then abbreviate so that it's correct, it's just too much work.
Right. I don't know. Rayan does a lot of social media stuff. What do you? I mean, I feel like Twitter seems to be the place where the businesses seem to love Twitter, Facebook too. But do you think? I mean, engagement-wise on Twitter, isn't it hard to really interact with Twitter people? I mean,
You know, for me, it's hard to interact with Twitter because I never really got into Twitter.
yeah. But you need to use it for businesses, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've helped businesses set up ways to link their Twitters to their Facebook and their blogs, but I mean, it's not necessarily.
And
I don't do as much social media as a lot of other people would.
Yeah. And so, what do you think about that too? The idea, I asked a lot of questions, but just the idea that somebody's Facebook literally is just their Twitter posts, and so you're like, oh, I'm seeing all these things on a Twitter post. So you're like. And then there's like, all right, and then it's funny. You tweet something, and it goes to Facebook, and then you're on Facebook, and you're responding it on Facebook without 100. There's what's the limit? The character limit?
160.
160 on a comment?
Yeah, it's 160 right now.
On Facebook?
Oh no, not on Facebook. On Twitter.
Oh no, Twitter's I thought was 140. They upped it to 160.
It's 160 right now. Yeah.
Oh,
I use Twitter.
I just meant that Facebook, when you take a tweet and it goes on your Facebook page. Now people, instead of just responding on Twitter, they can now comment on your tweet on Facebook. And so I know Google Plus is scared of that with their API and letting that happen and letting, people's streams now say from Facebook, from Twitter. Do you think that stuff like that could ruin Google Plus if that becomes stream things from other social networks, other places? Would that bother you if, like, you started seeing all these things in your stream and they're like somebody's tweets?
It clutters it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content already going through, especially as we get more and more users. So, having that stuff also filtered over, I think it's just going to be way too cluttered.
Anyone else?
What
if you saw people's Facebook posts on Google Plus with that? I mean, I don't know if that'll ever happen. But...
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd want that to happen. I think Facebook has a different mentality and a different maturity level.
Well, that's kind of it's. I don't know if that's totally fair to say. I think it really is up. I mean, you could say it's an overall whole, but I feel like so many people have all 3 or all of them. I know I do, and I don't go like over Facebook. I'm not like, oh, let me be like 5 years old. It's like. It's individual.
I don't know, like I guess it's just individual. Just that the people that I know that are on Facebook the most,
right?
And then people I know that are on Google Plus the most. It's just a different mentality. I don't know. I can't explain it. But it's just like it's just different. I don't know. Never mind.
Do you feel like people on Facebook are more willing to put up something like as short as a tweet? And people on Google Plus don't do that as much. Is that part of it?
That could be, yeah. It's a lot more like faster, shorter, more personal stuff on Facebook, where on Google Plus there tends to be more in-depth content or something lighthearted and funny, but it's not something like a LOL. Like no. People don't do that. I mean, sometimes I do if I really don't have a comment or something's really funny, but like they're just people actually share things that while they might not be important, they sort of have a depthness to them that is just better than like even you and your food porn photos. Like it's just like it just seems better than look what I had for lunch. LOL, we're on Facebook. I don't know. Like you put more into it.
So it's more of it's more of a mentality. It's more of it's not just a simple post. It's like a whole culture.
It's a conversation. Like you're starting a conversation, and not a I don't want to
like hey, look at me disease.
Right, attention.
Although we all suffer, I think everybody in the world, I think everyone, no matter what they say, has a different level of that. Hey, look at me disease, narcissism, whatever. I mean, it is. It's there. Whether we our egos are one thing, but it's still that like everyone likes attention, whether they say they don't or not, to some degree. And I think it's a matter of what level, whether they're a 10 or they're a 2 or they're going to be right back and they put up a sign. No, just kidding. But yeah, so let me just show everyone. There's the be right back sign. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think of that? I mean, I was talking about this earlier when we went off the air. I did Broadminder with Jane Ellen and Amy Gabriel, which was fun earlier before the show. That's where it was later. And was mentioning this idea that, we're in a community, and a community means all of us. But the idea that, people are, I was with someone and they said to me, but everybody's for themselves. And, that kind of made me really think. I'm like, okay, I can see that to a point, but not everything everyone does is for themselves, is it? I mean, what do you guys think of, when I think of a social media community, I think of people supporting and helping each other and talking and interacting and mentioning each other and but I've been in a hangout by myself, sure, talking either, but I eventually do invite people in here, it's not just about me. Usually I'm talking about other people, but I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or Google Plus, that there are people that have that, my stream and me, they'll say whatever, but you'll look at their stream, it's like them, and you never see anything but them. And then you see other people that you see a little bit of them, you see a little bit of what they like, you see a little bit of other people they like. I mean, do you guys notice things like that? Differences? What do you guys think of that whole thing? Do you have any opinion?
I definitely notice a difference, but Brandon pretty much covered what I was gonna say.
But do you like one over the other? Do you have a preference? Do you care?
I really don't have any type of preference. I mean, because I can choose what I want to see, pretty much.
Would you rather see someone always talk about what they're doing only, or would you rather see?
I don't mind. I follow some people who just talk about themselves because they sound like they have an interesting life, and I follow them. But then there's certain people where I don't want to know everything about them. So I guess it's kind of hard finding a perfect balance between the full stream versus a concentrated view of what you want to see.
Right. And the authenticity, though, it's like, just finding people that are genuine and authentic and that they really mean what they say and they really are who they are and they're not just posting stuff that they think people want to hear, or read.
I'm guilty about that. Sometimes I do post what I think people might like, or what I like and what I think, hey, people might find this interesting, so I'm going to share it.
Well, do you ever share something you don't find interesting, but you think other people do?
Oh, never. No, God.
That's what well, that's fine. As long as you find it interesting,
Well, I mean, there might be something that I might not find entirely interesting, but that I know some people in my circles might find interesting, and it would be the easiest way to let them know that I, saw this and thought of them would be to, post it and then, like, share it directly with them or tag them in it. But I mean, most of the time, that's very rare. Most of the time, I think, I post what I think. If I see an article that I find interesting, I post it because I want to talk about it. It's one thing to, have these thoughts in your head, but it's another that, even people, to post it online and start, have the community have a conversation with you about it. And, sometimes people are going to, disagree with me, and sometimes they're going to, agree with me, and, it's okay whether or not they, disagree with me or agree with me, because that's part of, living in a community. You have to respect everyone's, opinions and values. So if I post an article, about Mayor Bloomberg, and somebody comes up and supports, his initiative to ban formula in the hospitals and stuff, that's their right. And if they are intelligent, if they're respectful, if they want to, if they actually contribute to the conversation, then that's fine. But if they're going to be a troll, if they're going to just, their position is insulting and is not based on facts, then that's not a person that I want to have a conversation with. And I mean, I don't like, everybody, most people know that, yeah, this isn't my real name. And I did that.
My mama named someone Bronwyn.
And I've been accused of being fake, and I've been accused of being, this is not who I really am, but it is really who I am. And is it better to be who I really am and I use a name because of professional reasons, or do I use my real name and then post content that does not reflect my actual personality? I mean, it's one thing, I mean, like, okay, there's a person that's using their real name, and I don't want to call anybody out. But when I actually had to block them because their content was just so fake, and it's like somebody that you've actually interacted with in real life, and their content does not reflect their offline personality. It just but people don't realize their real character. It just bothers me. But I mean, Matt, Rappaport, knows me offline. We've had mini H.I.R.Ls. Other people here, they have other people on Google Plus have seen me offline. They know what I do when I'm not on here.
Oh, we know what you do.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I'm it's like, yeah, my name's not real, but this is really who I am.
Right.
And I think there's a difference.
I think the bottom line too is the H.I.R.Ls and Hangouts and meeting people and everything becoming 3D and everything. You can meet someone that's very nice and real. Someone like Lisabeth is really, they're really nice, and they're not. Lisabeth she wants to have fun. She wants to enjoy herself. She's not looking to exploit or take advantage. And there are lots of people that seem like there's awesome Lisabeth, and then they are these people that are out for what they want. So it's interesting. The internet, the world. I mean, it's everywhere. And Neon, is it Nyan or Nyan, right? Nyan Cat is all over the chat room right now. Flying. Rayan started.
I had to Google it on how to do it.
Or you could just copy his.
Mine didn't work.
It wouldn't let me copy and paste.
Chat room. Chat room stuff you can't see. Oh man. What else is here? I don't know.
I think it's important, though, what you were saying, but it happens in real life, too. You spend time with someone, or even if you follow their stream, if you're not going to interact with them in real life, and you find out whether they're genuine or not. Because if someone is just putting stuff up to say, I have this persona, when they're really over here, and this is who they really are, you're going to be able to tell that. You may not be able to tell it right away because you want to believe that the person's going to be genuine when they first come.
Right.
But you're going to be able to notice little things that seem inconsistent or going, oh, this really, something's not right here. If you don't want to use your real name for professional reasons, I've done that before, and that makes sense. But it doesn't mean that you're not representing yourself as who you really are in your own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And people can figure that out.
And do you think if they figure it out, it's gonna make them like you less, more, or neutral, or do you have any overall? It's hard to say.
I mean, I think that if someone realizes that you're not being genuine, then they're really just going to stop listening.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of the nice things about the community itself. You get to pick and choose, and I can choose to, talk to Matt and Rayan as often as I want because, I know they're genuinely who they are. As opposed to some other people who you find, they may say this, but they're either looking to get something from you, right, or they just like the sound of their own voice.
And so, Lisa, that's interesting. So to hear you say that, and you've been here since the beginning, or you've been here a little bit past the beginning, or?
It was right around the beginning. I just wasn't really. I like to watch more than.
I like to watch.
I like to watch, guys. Sorry.
I like to watch girls. Guys.
I'm gonna just let you guys know I'm out.
Thanks for joining us, Julie.
Good night.
See y'all later. Bye.
Later. Enjoy wherever you're at
Julie.
to. That was Schippnick.
I like
We haven't heard of it. Yeah, she's good. So it's interesting to hear that, especially since you become more active. Maybe since the Perl that made you more active. I don't know, but even more
Partially.
so. Were there people that you were friends with and you liked, and you got to know them, and you realized that they were, as you described, on Plus, or?
Not many. More in other social media, I found that more than here.
So what would you guys do if there was someone that you really loved, you followed their stuff, you thought they were awesome, and this isn't me, but I'm saying if they're out there and you found out like that they've lied about things in their life, they've lied about their story, would that piss you off? Or would you feel betrayed? Would you block them? Or you'd be like, they have their reasons for it, and they just wanted to get ahead, and that's fine. I mean, would there be...
It doesn't really offend me that much. I mean, first, if you don't use your real name, you know, that's not that big of a deal. But if you put on a different persona, let's say...
what if you're like really rich? You have rich parents, you're rich, and then you pretend like you're poor and you ask people for money. What about that?
That's screwed up.
But that's happened on here.
Oh yeah, it's definitely happened on here for sure. But they just put themselves in that position, and so me personally, I wouldn't be the guy to speak out against that.
No, I don't think it was just call a specific person out. We're just talking about
right. I wouldn't be really as frustrated. I probably wouldn't really care for them much. Yeah, I mean, if they act like if they're a completely different person, then you know, I understand if they're the ones who are gonna probably suffer whatever consequences for being that different person, you know, towards other people.
And people that usually comes out. The truth usually eventually comes out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't affect me, you know, if this is how they are or who they are. Let's say I'm good friends with them, right? I built this relationship online, and next thing you know, I meet them in person, and they're completely different. You know, it's. I just learned to move on. Really, I don't know. I mean, it's.
Well, do you think it's different? Do you think it's different if you're a man and it's a woman, or you're a woman and it's a man, and you found them attractive? Would that be harder to move on from? If that happened like that?
I think it would. You know, I think that if you invested in a romantic relationship with somebody,
or not even romantic, just
or not romantic, but like.
You just like them, and the fact that they were the opposite sex, and you thought they were attractive. Not that you were necessarily dating them, but that, you know, some people are. Let's be honest, right? There are people that we find cute and attractive, and that you want to interact with.
I would be ticked off if there was somebody that, you know, had this story, and, you know, they were making these posts, and you got to know them, and you really, you know, felt connected with them, and then it turns out that it was, you know, a big fat lie, and that, you know, that's not really who they are, and, you know, and I mean, I would feel really ticked off and betrayed.
Would it bother you guys? Rayan, you said you could just move on. Would it bother you if you knew?
Yeah, I mean,
wait, let me ask you this. Would it bother you if you found out these same people that you're moving on from are, say, on the SUL or are representing Google? Would that bother you?
Well, if they represent a company, I mean.
Or not Google, but let's say they became popular, they were on the SUL, and so they blew up and they're everywhere, and they're this person that is not who you thought they were. Would that bother you even more, or you could just walk away from it?
It might bother me a little bit, but it's not something. I mean, if there's no loss on my end, you know, then it doesn't really. Then it's just like, okay. Well,
what if they tricked you and fooled you? What if they did do something to you? Let's make it. What if they did? What if they affected your life in some way, that they had a negative impact on your life? Something they did, some lie or something.
Well, why wouldn't it bother me?
Okay.
You know, I generally don't. I mean, there's many things that, you know, like my real life friends, for example, or maybe not my real life friends, but people I know, right, acquaintances. There are times when maybe they've, you know, kind of done something a little different, or, you know, their intentions were different than what they perceived to be. Let's put it this way. It wouldn't necessarily. I mean, yeah, I've been ticked off before. You could only get ticked off for so long.
Right.
But you know, if it doesn't really affect you that much, I don't know. Like, a lot of it is in your head, right? What happened before you find out that information? It's just. I guess I'm having so much trouble trying to put into words here.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think the interesting thing about life, the interesting thing about social networking, Google Plus, is that you could spend little time, you spend a lot of time, you meet people, you don't know them, you get to know them, and they will present to you what they want to and leave stuff out, and then You know, and they'll do things, and you'll say, oh, wow, this person does this and they do that, and they've got to be X, or they've got to be Y, or they've got to be amazing, or people told me they were amazing, and that's just some kind of front they're putting on for the internet, right?
How about this? How about in real life? You call up somebody, you're supposed to meet up with them, and they decide to flake on you. They're not even answering your calls, they decide to flake. Something like that would tick you off, especially if you actually went out of your way to meet these people. However, if you're just chilling at home and they just decide to flake, and you're just still chilling at home, yeah, it might tick me off a little bit because I carved off this time frame, you know, to see you. But at the same time, there was nothing really much of a loss. Now, if this is a person, yeah, it'll bug you a little bit. You know, Google having people on air, or not on air, I'm sorry, on Google Plus. You know, when you're connecting and discovering these people, you're establishing some kind of a relationship with these people. You know, whatever interactions that you have back, whether it's very minor or it's growth, it's really not much different than it is in real life, in my opinion. The only actually, no, it is a big difference. They're all the way over there, and you're all the way over here.
That's the big difference. But otherwise, the mental part is the same.
The mental part is the same. A lot of the interactions mostly are the same.
Right. Well, no, I think they're even deeper than real life because you can access when you're in real life, your phone, you text them, whatever. But most people are not gonna, unless they're really close, they're not texting and phoning someone all the time. But if you're on social media, that same person that doesn't want to text and phone with you all the time, for some reason, is okay with hanging out or chatting, which is another barrier that we don't get over. That it's like, oh, I don't want to speak to them on the phone, I don't want to text them, but sure I'll hang out with them, sure I'll chat with them, you know, which is an interesting thing. But
right.
So, I mean, that's why something like this could be even more deeper, more real, because you spend more time, more hours, you talk about more things, you know?
Well, I mean, look what happened with the H.I.R.L. You get to the H.I.R.L., some people call it the best weekend ever, you know, the best weekend in the longest time ever. For most, I should say. For some, you know, they had slightly different experiences, and I think overall it's, I don't know, there's just so much things that you can really relate to in real life. I've made a lot of new friends off this platform. You know, I'll be very straightforward. And many of them that I've met, there's some of them that may have been a little different than I had thought they were. But the way I deal with it is, you know, I just let it be whatever it is. I expect that if not my current friends are like that now, so I will eventually meet somebody that will be, or there are other people that will be like that. So.
Yeah. No, I agree. And there are a lot of great people, a lot of positive things. Sometimes I harp on I'm not trying to harp on the negative, but it's just interesting to talk about. I find that because yeah, they're great. Listen, they're great people. You can meet lots of people. Lots of people are genuine, and they're out there, and we'll be having fun at the H.I.R.L. That's so it's not really something to worry about, but it does happen, and I find that fascinating. Just that, you know, when you meet people and you spend time here and you experience people, and then you really find out you love them, you like them, you followed them, you supported them, you gave them your all, you know, because that's the kind of person you are. And then you find out all these things happen, whether online or offline, and you find out what kind of person they really are, and you kind of see how they really can be, and you find out maybe they were on medication, and maybe they've been married, and maybe so many things that no one knows that you didn't know, like, and, you know, not that there's anything wrong with either of those things, but say, or they have an anger issue, or there's so many things that I've experienced, and I'm like, oh my God, this person is crazy, you know, and you're like, okay. And so then you move on. You're like, okay, that person's still out there, and they're still posting, they're still putting stuff out there, and they're saying stuff is happening to them. And you're like, I know that that's a lie. I know this person is lying to the community just to get attention.
No, I know. It's annoying. It's frustrating. You want to be able to, like, you know, run through the streets and be like, no, like, come on, wake up, people, smiling greatest people. But you can't. And I mean, if you do that, you're gonna, you know, be the bad guy, and you have to be better than that, and you have to
right.
You know, and it sucks when you know something or some things about a person, and you want to be able to, you know, warn other people before they get hurt and they get sucked into the lies and the rabbit hole of crap. But you know, how do you do that?
I just want to stop right now and let everyone know I'm so talking about Rayan. Rayan, how could you do that to me? I trusted you, man. You were right.
You've officially exposed me on the internet. How dare you?
Rayan's amazing. All right, I'm moving on. I'm done. I don't. Unless you guys have anything to add.
Well, honestly, the last
you
thing
can
I want
laugh
to
out loud, Lisabeth. That's right.
No.
What's different?
Hurt me right here.
How different is it in real life, though? I've met people like that in real life, where they're not posting, they're talking to other people, they're socializing with other people, but I've met...
I mean, it happens in real, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It happens in real life, and you still can't, you know...
Yeah, but in real life, they go away. Here, they don't go, they go away in a sense, but they kind of don't, because they're still around interacting with people that you interact with.
What if it was somebody? What if it was somebody you worked with? What if it was somebody that didn't know what they were doing?
I've seen that happen.
And they, you know, they actually go in and actively sabotage you and delete all the work you did. You know, and then, you know, in meetings, shoot down all of your ideas.
We're all talking about like specific things.
And it's like, and it's just like, what do you do when, you know, the people that are supposed to, you know, catch that are on like that person's side? Like, if you ever read the book Snake in Suits, it's about, it's a really good book that I think that anybody who's, you know, you should read before you enter the job force. And it's about like looking at like when psychopaths go to work, or is it sociopaths? One of the two. And it's just like, you know, some people that are really, you know, charming, and they're really good at getting people to like them, but they don't know what they're doing job-wise, and they can, you know, the people that don't have the charming skills.
You're talking about the schmoozers, the charmers, the schmoozers, the people that can talk their way out of anything. They just don't do it.
Right, and so it's like, oh, why, you know, why wasn't this done? And it was like, oh, you know, you can schmooze it. And then, like, you know, who gets, you know, crapped on? Like, the person that doesn't have the schmoozing, the person that doesn't have the connections, the person that actually knows what they're doing and is being sabotaged by some psycho. And, I mean, that happens everywhere. And you can't, and the reason why it keeps happening is that, like, there's really no catch-all, there's no safety net, and you can't go around telling people, you know, what's that guy's name? I have a Taylor Lautner poster, so I'm gonna look for like, Taylor and Mary. Like, you know, you can't go around like Taylor.
What? Wait. You have a Taylor Lautner poster? Why? Because he's naked?
I do. No, he's in his cat shirt on.
Don't show us!
Oh, sorry. I forgot we were on there.
That's not why. I just don't want to see. Right.
Keep your shirt on.
No.
No.
But, so Taylor Lautner, you do realize it's not a Jew.
What?
He's not a Jew.
I can't hear you.
He's not a Jew. He's not a
Jew.
Thank you for those of you listening. The slow people. We love you.
I was like, Taylor Lautner's not Matthew, and I'm like,
well, that's true too. What? He's not. No, he can't be me. He turns into creatures. I turn into me. So
I'm like, yeah.
Anyway, so the H.I.R.L's coming up. We're excited. What are you guys looking forward to the most? Do you have any things, Rayan, you can answer, even though you're not coming? Pretend you're coming. You were coming.
I was going to say seeing Rayan, but apparently now I got to go with the concert on Friday. So that's my favorite part. I'm looking forward to the concert.
I'm so excited about the concert because I missed Rayan and Sickle in February. And I haven't seen him live yet, and I haven't seen Rebecca Perl live yet, and I'm really, really excited, and I can't wait, and I'm gonna have them like sign my shirt because I can't buy any CDs that I was going to buy, and so now that I'm broke, and
maybe you'll win a CD.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
And there's actually an art event that I'm planning, art photography event happening midday Friday. I'm trying to get people to. That's hopefully gonna be in New York. That will feature artists and photographers, and there'll be some food and schmoozing and hurling and Googling, and I'm sure they'll be like, Sal, give us some feedback! Yes, now that you're here. But, Rayan, if you were coming, what would you want to, if they want the concert, or Photowalk, or...
There's a lot, yeah, you know, I'd like to attend as many things as possible, see as many people, and spend time with as many people as possible.
Hey, so Rayan, you've pearled a lot also out in California. You want to tell us a little about some of those experiences in LA and in SF and
Yeah.
there. Did you go to Vegas too, right?
Yeah, I did go to Vegas. It was a pretty great hurl. I mean, a lot of people that originally started with the platform were there, and yeah.
Was that the first time you met some people at Vegas? A few of them, or just Ermine was new, or?
I think Ermine was the only person that was new, but obviously with our interactions online, it didn't really feel any different than saying that.
Except that she's tall, right?
I'm sorry?
Except that she's kind of tall compared to. I'm just trying to look for a difference. I'm sorry.
She's tall, but she's that's not.
And so what about? And then you hung out with people in what? The same people you hung out with Vegas. You've hung out in California with.
I've hung out with a few people in Los Angeles. Several times, Cam and a few others. Tim even came down one time from San Francisco and biked all the way down to Los Angeles, which I thought was really, really cool. And we spent time. We had sushi. We had a pretty good time. Got together and.
What's the vibe? Hurling with people on the West Coast versus East Coast? Is there a different vibe? Is it the people? Is it the place? Is there any difference?
It's a slightly different vibe. I mean, a lot of it is the same excitement. Let's put it this way, because you are excited to meet people that have something in common with you by being on this platform, and I've noticed that as time kind of goes by, people are a lot more selective on who they hang out with, versus you have this floodgate of everybody, and it's almost like a zoo where everybody has just a different personality. But then you start adapting to certain people, and you know how people are, and you have the choice of really are these the people you want to hang out with or not. So there were many hurls in California. Many times we've gotten together, and sometimes they've been with the same people, and other times they've been not with the same people.
And so was anybody? So then you must like some of these people that have been hurling with them multiple times, and you went to Vegas with them, or they'll go. Yeah. Who doesn't want to go to Vegas? So right, so that's fine.
No, I mean we had a pretty exciting group in Vegas. It was actually funny a little bit because when we first got there, half the people, let's say on Friday night, some people wanted to go to bars or some kind of a clubbing or some kind of environment. Other people wanted to just sit and lay back, and there was a group here and there was a group there. So you could tell they weren't necessarily all together all the time. The times that we were all together, though, were whenever we'd go and visit the pool or whenever we'd walk to certain places. But sometimes we'd be doing some side activities while others would be doing their own activities, and then we would just eventually meet up sometime.
You mean you didn't all just go to the strip club? What?
No, not everybody. I didn't go.
That's okay. I'm just messing.
But I mean, everybody. There are nights when the thing with the Vegas is that there's so many things to do. Whether you're there with a family, you're there with friends, or even there alone, there's always a lot of things to do.
Well, there's always the poker table.
There's always the poker table. Exactly. So, everybody has their own taste in what they want to do in Vegas. I've gone to Vegas many times with different groups, and every group has a different.
Did you ever go up and do the stratosphere rides at all, or?
One time.
And you're like, never again.
No, actually, they weren't as scary. But at the same time, I can probably throw myself off a plane and go skydiving and probably, get that adrenaline rush and be totally okay with it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So.
Yeah, they showed a guy bungee jumping, I think, from the stratosphere on Travel Channel or something. It's kind of crazy. Can you imagine bungee jumping off that thing?
Like I said, there's a lot of things to do. So.
Yeah, when I got to Vegas at one time, my brother's bachelor party. It was interesting because I didn't get to the old strip, just the new strip, and then it was interesting and I felt really bad when you see Circus Circus. You're like, oh my God, Circus is this landmark, and it looks like so run down and right. I don't know, and then that side. Anyway, that's cool. I don't know. Anyone else have any stories? It's like maybe I'll wrap up. We've been talking. We've been out for an hour and a half, hour 40. Everyone, if you're watching on YouTube still, again, why? I mean, good for you. I hope you're enjoying this, finding out secret information.
I don't really have anything to say, I guess. Sorry.
I mean, we should have Atlantic. I would do an Atlantic City Herald, but it's kind of, I don't know, Atlantic City's not as exciting as Vegas, so.
Yeah,
it's a little,
I don't have any money.
Well, I wish I could fix that for you. But.
Yeah. I do have to head out, guys.
Yeah, I was ending. We're ending. So, well, we're wrapping up. Wrapping up. So thanks everyone for being here. Looking forward to the Herald next weekend. August 9th to August 13th. Thursday night we'll probably do, I'm thinking again, the bodies exhibit or dinner, drinks, and meet up. And then Friday you got this art photography thing in the day. And if you're going to wake up early and you want to do some sights and breakfast, that's your own thing, and that's cool. Night, the awesome concert, 9 p.m. free concert in the living room. My event's at Perl. And afterwards, maybe we'll go to the Pink Pony again and take a nice quick group picture. Saturday, there'll be the photo walk, 10 a.m. from the Flatiron Building all the way through Union Square and West 4th Street, which will be awesome. We'll get through, hopefully, before it gets too hot out. Then we'll have some lunch and some drinks. And then there's a couple of things happening in Brooklyn and free time. And then there'll be this great dinner, sushi, noodles. Lee Allison put together at Jabone Noodles down by St. Mark's Place. We'll drink. There's a stage with a mic. Hopefully people will get up there and be funny or sing or whatever. And then they're welcome to go with Lee Allison, whoever's up for a pub crawl. And then Sunday morning, if you haven't left yet, we could have brunch and go to Coney Island. And then Monday, you can get the F out. I mean, go home. Go home! No, that's what it'll be. So next week I won't have a ham conversation show. We'll just be doing on-airs. I'll try to do them every day, every time I can. The concert will have an on-air. The art event will have an on-air Friday, August 10th. So I don't know. Hopefully Thursday night I'll get a small one in with anyone that shows up, and sure there'll be on-airs and pictures galore. So by what is it? This time next week or a week and a half from now, there's going to be gazillion pictures and gazillion video. We'll use party mode for the first time, and awesome. Everyone's ankles and knees will be in the event. That'll be fun. And make sure you shut off the party mode before you do the little picture down the shirt. People forget about that. And that's all. So then coming in August, I hope to have Sweet 709 as a guest later this month. I'm excited about that too. And Rayan, Lisabeth, and Bronwyn. I almost said your real name. No, not Daniel. Have a wonderful night, and thank you for watching.
Bye.
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 Thanks, Matt.
Peace on Earth. Twice.
Peace, love, and softball.